TJ Webster has dreams of playing ball like Julius Erving, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Wilt Chamberlain. So last summer, he yanked all the money from his savings account to hop on a bus from Sacramento to come here to Rucker Park in Harlem to compete in the annual Entertainers Basketball Classic. Most high school players dream of playing Friday night football under the lights. Now, with a $75,000 donation from the New York Jets, 40 players here at Frederick Douglass High School will get that chance. That money will fund the school's first ever varsity football team. This is an example of a Banksy artwork that has been destroyed. Within less than 24 hours, local graffiti artists tagged this piece. But that's not to say some New Yorkers don't treasure his work. Some of them even have their own security guards. Starbucks is pulling the plug on the so-called Starbucks squatter. So going in, getting some coffee, plugging in, and doing some work is a thing of the past. The coffee shop is yanking the public's access to outlets in their stores.
I was always someone who always pushed myself in the streets.
So at 17, Frank Galarza took his fighter spirit to the ring.
Boxing is what I do, is what I love. It showed me how to just push past my limits and just keep moving forward, even when you get knocked down.
Training for his boxing events at his home gym of Start City, Galarza has deemed himself Brooklyn's Rocky. His young career is highlighted with a 2010 Golden Gloves win and this year's junior middleweight New York State title.
From there, I just went professional, and then I've been undefeated ever since.
From the streets to the gym, Galarza is not only defeating opponents, but knocking out violence in his neighborhood with a new youth program.
Luta pela Paz, Fight for Peace, is a foundation. It's a nonprofit organization based on dealing with kids struggling, affected by crime and violence.
Returning from Fight for Peace training in Brazil, Galarza is now focused on implementing that program here in Brooklyn. He hopes to find funding for his own facility to start bringing the neighborhood kids off the streets and into a safer and more productive environment.
They'll be able to work out, and then from there they'll be able to say if they need to talk to someone about something that's going on in their family, they can have that there. Or if they need help with tutoring or any kind of classes, extra help, they can have that.
In Canarsie, I'm Jessica Gruenling. Crowded streets, new restaurants, and a lot of history. Harlem is what brought Frank Scholes to 125th and Lenox today.
Silvia's.
He's just one of the dozens of tourists waiting in line for a taste of soul food. This group from Australia came uptown as a must-see on their New York to-do list.
We rode bicycles from the other end of Central Park, through Central Park, up to here.
Harlem is going through a makeover 15 years in the making. What was once mom-and-pop shops is being transformed into big-name stores and fancy restaurants. Curtis Archer, the president of the Community Development Center, says the street has drastically changed from what it was a few years ago.
The number one, of course, business that has come to Harlem, of course, have been restaurants.
Research shows that Harlem is the third most popular tourist destination in the world, which makes sense with Lenox Ave bustling this weekend. But the so-called gentrification isn't sitting well with some of the locals.
People also sometimes mistakenly say that this is the second Harlem Renaissance. I would argue that the Renaissance was driven by arts and culture. This is really more of an economic imperative.
I'm not exactly excited about the way Harlem is changing.
Once I got a flight that said stop the gentrification.
Patrice Fife has called Harlem home for 7 years and has returned from a 6-month stay in Afghanistan. And what she found was streets filled with malls instead of the local shops she once knew.
Harlem doesn't need a new mall. 4 more malls.
Curtis Archer says the only real fear locals should have is the cost of living, as more private developers continue to make investments in Harlem.
There's absolutely been some concern because prices have gone up. And with that prices going up, some people have felt that, they can't now afford to actually take some benefit from all of the new construction and new development that's occurred.
I'm Jessica Gruenling.